Hey, what's good, everyone? I'm David McDonald with Sustainment TV, and today we have a candid conversation with a special guest. Some of you may know, I'm the director and one of the executive producers of the upcoming feature film Bethany, which depicts a housewife that's she's in a bad marriage, and she uses boxing as a way of getting out of her situation. It's an empowering story, and you'll see more of that as the days come with our interviews and whatnot on this channel, as well as on our Facebook page. Today we want to sit down with Michelle Harris, who is a local minister, author, and a domestic violence survivor. Welcome, Michelle. How's everything with you?
Everything's great. It's beautiful. Yeah.
I think domestic violence is one of those subjects, conversations, however you want to coin it, that sometimes it gets ignored. It kind of gets pushed to the side, but
Right.
I mean, it's so common.
Yeah.
1 out of 3 women in the United States,
Yes.
at some point in their life, will be physically abused by
Absolutely.
an intimate partner, and with men, it's 1 out of 4. So I mean, why do you think it's so common?
Well, one of the things is, when you get people from a domestic violence situation when they're young, they may say, I'm not going to be like my dad. I'm not going to be like my mom. And the very thing they do is end up repeating the same thing, the same cycle. And some abusers use psychological, mental, and emotional abuse to actually control the person, beat down the person for years and years with words, with psychological and mental, and the person lose who they are.
Okay.
Once that happens, abuse is next, the physical. It always start with the verbal first. It always start with that, and then the shove, and then it escalates if it's not handled. So a lot of that is because of, they grew up in it in their childhood, repeating it, or they were already abusive, and in order to get this person, they emotional, psychological, and mental abuse, which is not even heard of either. That type of abuse will take you out of here more than the physical. It'll mess with you. So if you look at all the tactics, even back in slavery, when you look at the tactics that they use, when you look at those things, how to manipulate the mind, how to do those things, yeah, you can actually control a person by mentally abusing them first.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you may watch it could be anything, soap opera, movie, TV series, whatever, and you see these situations, and as a viewer, totally detached from it, you're like, why don't he do this? Why don't she do that?
Right.
And the reality of it is, it's not always easy to just unplug from the situation.
Right.
Why do you think it takes so long for someone to make up their mind they're gonna elevate and change their situation? Why?
Yeah.
Why
Well,
is
one of
that?
the things, a lot of times, on the women's side, we haven't been validated by the fathers. And when that happens, you kind of don't know who you are. When you don't know who you are, you think it's okay. You think it's all right. You think, because now I couldn't take what I took back then.
Sure.
I just even think about it, like, who were you? And majority of the time, when you don't know who you are, you don't know yourself, you really would take anything. Whether you realize it or not, it's the truth. You would take this stuff, and then they oftentimes repeat, I'm not going to do it again, and I'm not going to hurt you, and you're this to me, and I love you, and you're the only one, and I want to make this happen. And we look for that white picket fence, beautiful marriage, no problems. And when we hear those words, we identify it with those things, and then guess what? It end up happening again.
Yeah.
And then they come back and say it again, and then they'll do stuff to will you in, manipulate your mind, manipulate you, and you think it's going to happen, and it just don't. It just don't. It doesn't happen. So a lot of times we get caught up in what we want, and that it's going to change. And then if I be good, I can make him change. If I be good, he'll do this. But if it's in them, it's in them. And the same thing will be repeated.
Yeah, I mean, it's a heartbreaking thing where I know I work in the school system, public school system, and you can tell it's like typically before I'll ask an administrator something about a specific student, I can already tell even before they identify them. There's just certain telltale signs, and I know something you said, something along the lines of, you know, they see it.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like your mind gets conditioned. It's like, oh, that's it. That's just normal.
Yeah.
You know, even in a situation where, you know, where you got your mama's boy, daddy's girl dynamics, even a young man seeing that growing up is very predisposed to doing it himself, and that's unfortunate.
It is. They see it and they don't like it when they're young, but they grow up repeating it. And you know that generational curse, like the Bible says, will follow the third and fourth generation if it's not broken.
Yeah.
And so they end up repeating it and not really wanting to do it, but it's what they know, is what they saw. Same thing with me. You know, I was molested as a child, so I was intro to abuse.
Yeah.
So what are the chances? The first thing I said was, I'm not going to let my daughter go through this. I'm not going to allow anyone to, you know, I said all these things. And guess what? I still end up marrying into an abusive relationship.
Right.
My first one was physical and mental. And then my second one was psychological, mental, no physical, but psychological and mental and emotional abuse. And that was the worst than the hitting. So, and that's the abuse no one talks about, the mental, because once they get you to that certain level, now you become what they want you to be and not who you really are.
Yeah.
And it was my mom, I didn't even know, it was my mom that brought a picture over of me, handed it to me, and she said, who is that? And I looked, I didn't even know. And I said, oh my gosh, that's me. And she was like, yeah, that's you. I didn't even recognize myself. I had become and shaped and molded everything he wanted me to be, because the accusations was every day. Every day he walked in that door, I was accused of something. So I ran around, oh, I'm gonna do this so he don't think that. I'm gonna do this, and before you know it, I was forming myself to who he wanted me to be, but not who God called me to be. Right. Yeah, so.
And that's everything. You know, so much, you know, what I see it with students, and obviously you mentioned it yourself about that, you know, you didn't recognize yourself, and in those moments, that's untapped potential that, you know, sometimes people are not able to get out of those situations. So everyone that gets out of their situation, I mean, you know, it's I've heard someone say, like, light bulb was turned on, my life has began again, because they felt like they were a prisoner in their mind. So I guess another question I would ask you is, what resources, if someone's in a situation, you know, such as a domestic violence situation, what kind of resources, or I guess what advice could you give someone that was trying to get out of that situation?
What I would definitely tell them is do it quietly, because all the ones last year that you saw on the news, they verbalized me leaving. That's the worst thing you can do to an abuser. You need to tell someone that you trust that it will not get out, and you need to plan to leave. Because the moment you say it out your mouth, you're actually putting your life on the line. Plan it, plan your escape, tell a family member. In my case, I couldn't tell my family because my family is very gangster. So if I was to tell them, it would have been war against both families. So that kind of made me like, okay, I'm not gonna tell my brothers, I'm not gonna tell no one, because if I tell them, it's gonna be over, somebody's gonna end up, you know, so I kept quiet about it. And then, so I had to strategically plan it, and then I told my family after I got away. Yeah, they were still mad, but the fire was put out before it got started. So I would tell anyone, be safe about it, start saving your money, tell someone, get someone to hold your money, send someone your evidence to their email so they can hold it for you, and make your escape plan quietly. Because if the moment you say that, that's why a lot of the ladies last year on the news, it was back to back. And the first thing the news said was that they said to the male, or their spouse, I'm leaving. And that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
And don't stay in it. Don't tell yourself that it's going to change. Don't tell yourself, oh, I deserve this, because it has a way of making you feel like you deserve it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's not good. You know, once you start feeling that way, you losing yourself already. So yeah, plan it quietly. And if it's your house, let's say it's not a spouse, let's say it's your dad, or let's say it's your mom. Mm-hmm. Those type of situations, it's hard for you to tell social services, because a lot of those places ain't safe either. So find someone that you truly trust, like an aunt, or or uncle, to pull you out of that situation. Because a lot of times they don't tell their family members either.
Right.
My family didn't know what was going on with me at all. The only thing they knew is that I was responding to acting out, by acting out, or I didn't get into trouble, but it definitely wasn't part of my personality.
Right.
What I was doing.
Yeah.
And but no one stopped to ask, what's going on in your house? What's happening to you? What's wrong with you? No one stopped to ask me that.
Yeah. And you mentioned how, abuse from a different type of relationship, happened as a child, and then as an adult, instead of being totally polarized and avoiding that, it's still that seed of dysfunction and whatnot. It was sown early, and then it still had the outcome that it had.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it has to be broken. A lot of, when I started having children, I had not been delivered yet. So I had all the residue, all the debris from the abuse that happened when I was 5 to 8, then 13. So that abuse I carried on even into when I had children. So I spent years trying to handle things in a physical way. And so not breaking the generational curse in the spirit, but I was just trying to, you're gonna do this. My children will tell you, I was very strict, because I really wanted them to not have the life that I had. I didn't want what happened to me happen to them.
Right.
So I was on it. No one could come over. If they couldn't go over no one's house. If they had friends, I had to really, what you do, find out about their friends to that degree. So I did a lot of stuff in the physical way. I wouldn't sleep. I would get up every hour on the hour, making sure that they were okay. It really was torment until deliverance happened. And I was freed.
Gotcha.
And then I'm like, oh, you want us to break the generational curse in the spirit. Okay, I got it now. But by that time, my children were teens, and I had already done they was already in the army. My family used to tell me, your children are in the army. You need to let them be children. I didn't have a childhood. So therefore, me not really being able to be a child, I didn't know what that was like. You know? So.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, if you know someone that's in a domestic violence situation, talk to them, encourage them, have an idea of where you can go for resources if you don't know specifically. I know in the description of this video, there's going to be a couple of numbers and websites that you can refer to for help in a domestic violence situation. Do you have any last words?
I do. One more thing I wanted to say is definitely, if you know someone going through it, definitely encourage them, because you're contending with what's in their mind.
Right.
You're fighting against that. And then another thing, if you suspect it, don't ignore it. You may see bruises here and there. Domestic people that's going through domestic violence, you won't know sometimes.
Right.
Just like we don't know when someone's going to commit suicide. The signs are silent. So pay attention to the change in the behavior. Pay attention to if what they're doing is not them. These are the signs that my family missed. Is it them? That's not like them. Why are they doing this? So I want to say to the ones that that may suspect it, please pay attention to all the signs. Don't ignore. Don't believe, oh, how did your arm break? Or where did that bruise come from? Why is your eye black? Oh, I hit it with something. No, pay attention and help get that person out of the situation. But they also have to be safe, because the abuser will try to escalate to whoever's trying to help, like the mom and the daughter, that she was trying to save her daughter out of domestic violence, and he hurt the mom too,
Yeah,
killed her.
gotcha.
So it's nothing to play with. I don't care how well you think you know the person. It is nothing to play with. They will collect on those words if you stay in this situation.
Yeah,
So
yeah. One of the domestic violence is definitely one of those real world issues that is probably not talked about as much as it should
no,
be.
it's
And
not.
we appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us.
Problem.
Minister, poet, and
Thank you.
local creative Michelle Harris.
Yes.
Thanks for your time,
Thank you.
and continue to stay updated on all the updates with the upcoming film, and take care of each other. Thanks for watching.